Welcome, my friends of the interwebs. First, let me say I'm really sorry I've been gone for so long. My life is crazy right now, and I can only make videos when I can make them for all kinds of reasons. There will come a day when I chronicle all of that for you guys in detail. But for now, this is kind of an important update. I've been meaning to make this video for the last 2 months and have never found the time or had the energy to actually do it. So yeah, I know this is going to be super short notice. But if you've been on social media for any length of time, you know what TOS stands for, Terms of Service. And you know that the powers that be, and regardless of which social media you're messing with, they like to change things all the time. Most of the time, not for the better. In fact, I don't think I can remember whether it's YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, any number of that. I don't remember any time where they changed their terms of service where it worked out for the better. Doesn't happen. So about 2 months ago, I get a message in my inbox, in my Gmail account, and it's from OnlyFans with this big notice saying, hey, we're updating our terms of service. You may want to read this. Terms of service take effect in, I think, beginning of April, or maybe it's the middle of April, maybe it's the end of April, in April nonetheless. If it's at the beginning of April, you don't have too long. Why am I telling you this? Because here's the thing. If you followed me from back in the Mad Bad Voodoo days, you know that my big thing, my claim to fame and fortune, was, you know, beautiful hot models with guns. That's what I did. That's what put food on the table. That's what, yeah. There was a time when that was like having your own ATM in your house. And I think I've told the story before. Julia Steele was the first, what I call professional model. She was the model that came after Krista. Julia was the first professional model that I ever worked with that did, you know, nude. She did BDSM, lots of fetish work. She was actually a really big in-demand fetish model in the area that I live in. So when I shot her, she was the first person that I ever shot in a bikini. And so we did this video. It was a prone video. She was on her belly, teal bikini. It was an epic video. And I want to say that shoot with her cost me $100. And which, you know, we're talking many years ago, so take that for what it's worth. Inflation wasn't quite what it is today. And but we were going to do a basic shoot. I told her I was mostly interested in making YouTube videos, which I was. And we made 5 videos that day. And after the 4th video, she's in the prone position. She just got done shooting the AR-15, the A2 that I have that's affectionately called the Rump Shaker 1. And I said to her, because I'd never worked with a professional model before. Krista and I worked together, but she was like, I mean, she was like family to me. So there was certain boundaries, even though people seen what they seen. But I looked at Julia and I said, hey, would you be cool with, and she just, I was being sheepish about it because, you know, how do you ask a, you know, and I don't remember how old I was at that particular time. I don't think I was I 40 yet? I'm not sure. I was probably knocking on 40's door. So it's a long time ago. And how do you ask, you know, a 20-year-old, or actually I think she might have been 24 or 5 at the time, to take off the bikini. So anyway, she knew where I was going with this, and she just got a big grin on her face and whipped the bikini off and out of frame, and we made that video of her shooting the AR-15 totally nude. And then that became a theme of mine. So whenever I would work with a model, I would always get a few videos of them shooting whatever gun, several guns, nude. I knew it would come in handy someday. So that video, that teal video of Julia, went viral on YouTube. I mean, it got over 1 million views in almost no time. And I made so much money in it. You know, to be completely honest, that worked out brilliantly for me. It just really did. It was quite a return on investment. And Julia was happy because then we worked out a deal where I would produce the Julia Steele channel. And she became Julia Steele, who, by the way, before anybody asks, is retired now. She got married. She had, she's got children with her husband, and she's retired from public life. She's doing great. She's just a wonderful person. God bless her. Everything's worked out well for Julia. But anyway, inevitably, when you have a video that has that kind of views, people back then people could send you or they could send you messages. You had like an inbox. And they were like, hey, you wouldn't happen to have any videos of that girl naked, would you? And I'm like, well, I do, in fact, have videos of that girl shooting the guns naked. And then, back then, there was really very few options, so I would pay, or I wouldn't pay, I'm sorry, they would send me PayPal. They would PayPal me money, and then I would send them the video, which I always hated doing because whenever you let a video fly into somebody else's hands, So, that worked out great until PayPal discovered what was going on, and then they banned me for life for being a pornographer or whatever. To this day, I don't really think of myself as that, but, whatever. It's all in the eye of the beholder. So, and then I went to a platform which was, like Vimeo. And you could, for $200 a year, I think, upload as many videos as you want, but then you could password protect folders. So then I would have like a $100 folder and a $50 folder and a $25 folder, and I did that for the longest time. And that worked out great because I didn't have to email people videos, because clips they take forever to send. And so now I was just selling a premium membership over there. And they were, because none of my stuff back then was, like legit porn. There was no, in and out, none of that stuff. It was just girls shooting guns naked. And so that did really well. And then Vimeo said they were cool with basic nudity and stuff like that. But I think it was the combination of guns and nude young ladies. I think that was the problem for them because twice they shit-canned my account. Both times they refunded me. They didn't want to, but I'm like, look, I have not broke any of your terms of service. You need to send me my money back. And they would. But it got to the point where changing, emails and doing, it's just, because sometimes you could be up on Vimeo for 3 or 4 months, and then sometimes it'd be 3 or 4 weeks. It just became, And I remember Julia saying to me, she goes, you need to get on Patreon. And it took me a year of blowing her off about Patreon before I finally got on Patreon, and that worked out great for the longest time. But I got the message from them. We were changing our terms of service, blah, blah, blah. And then one day I go to log on to Patreon, and it was locked out. And they basically said, you've been a bad boy. You need to remove some offending content. Here's a case worker, I guess. I'm not sure. I can't remember what they called this person. A trusted safety advisor or some bullshit. That will work with you to clean up your act because we don't want to see you go. Well, they don't want to see me go because I'd already made over $50,000 on Patreon. So, and they get a chunk of that. But anyway, so I work with this woman. It was a woman, and I'm like, well, my $100 tier was always open leg stuff. But even then, there still wasn't any what I call hardcore, the in-and-out stuff. It was just, here's a vagina. You like Julia Steele's vagina? Here it is. Cambria Lee's vagina? Here it is. Bobby Bass's vagina? Here it is. You want to see her shooting guns too? Well, that's cool. We got all that. And Patreon was just like, we're not a porn site, and we don't want you having any of that. So my $100 a month, and at that time I had 11 people paying me $100 a month. And I don't remember how many paid 50 and 25 and whatever 10, but I was making bank on Patreon. And so she's working with me, right? And I'm taking down videos, and at some point I said to her, I go, who's going to pay me $100 a month? There's no content worth $100 a month now. And she didn't care. And then we went to the $50 level, and it was the same thing. It was really a bloodbath. And I realized that, okay, I can no longer do these things. And I still have a Patreon. I still think my Patreon is the best bang for the buck. There's nudity there. There's no There's not a lot in the way of videos, but as far as photos and stuff like that, you can get on my Patreon for my Mad Bad Voodoo Patreon is like the cheapest tier is like $1. And then I've got like a $10 or $20, whatever. It does go up. I still have people who give me $100 a month, but I told them what I offer on Patreon now is not worth that. For half that money, you can get way more on OnlyFans. And but the people that I still have to give me $150, a lot of them are like, look, we just like what you do. We like to support you. And I've always been blessed like that. I've always had really cool people wanting to support me. So, and basically living vicariously through me. I don't know. Because they'll send me $100 a month on Patreon, and some dudes have done that for years. And then they'll sign up for my OnlyFans, which is $50 a month, and so they'll say $150. Some people have it like that. Not me, but some people do. So, anyway, I'm telling this long ass story for what I have no idea. But OnlyFans became an option, and so I went to OnlyFans, and OnlyFans was so much better than even Patreon. You couldn't do the tiers and stuff. With OnlyFans, you had one rate, okay, and mine was at $50. Some people they do OnlyFans $3 a month, $5, $10, whatever they do, it's their business. But the cool thing about Patreon, it was so much cooler than the cool thing about OnlyFans that was so much cooler than Patreon was that with OnlyFans you could upload directly video content. With Patreon, if you were going to have videos, they had to be YouTube videos. Like, I lost a YouTube account. I don't remember which account it was. I don't think it was like a burner account. And what I would do is I would upload next level content, stuff that was not acceptable to upload on YouTube, but I would upload it as an unlisted video. And then because with unlisted videos, you could use the video link. And so I would just copy the video link. So people were watching that level of content that was coming off of a underground YouTube channel. But, YouTube's gotten much better at crawling through stuff and most of those underground channels would last for a few months and then YouTube would delete them because they're like, this is a violation of our terms of service. So I just said at one point, I'm like, I'm just going to upload this stuff to OnlyFans. So I had a ton of content. Look, I started making YouTube videos a very, very, very long time ago. I started shooting Julia Steele in 2014. So long, or 2013 or 2014, a long time ago. And then, of course, Julia broke that dam, and it was off to the races with nude models ever since then. Which reminds me real quick, you guys all know how I feel about Cambria Lee. Cambria, God rest her soul, one of my all-time favorite people, and somebody I considered a friend. Somebody said to me not long ago, well, she's dead now. Why do you have all these videos and photos of her nude? Or, isn't that kind of... And I'm like, look, Cambria was a nude model. I know her. I knew her extremely well. We spent tons of time together for years. She loved being a nude model. She really did. And she would never want me to remove that content. I still have a bunch of content that I haven't even uploaded yet, but I will, because that's kind of what she would want, to be completely honest. I mean, maybe there comes a day when I don't do that, but I mean, for right now, look, Cambria still has a lot of friends and a lot of fans, and I think that she would have wanted them to have access to that level of content. I really do think that. And like I said, I knew her very, very, very well. So, I mean, truly a friend of mine. Which reminds me, here's a good example. She used to come over here and do art with me all the time. This was something she was working on around Christmas time. You got the balls for the Christmas tree. Anyway, the cock and balls. That was Cambria. She was a fucking blast. She was a lot of fun. Anyway, wanted to get that out of the way. So, terms of service issues with OnlyFans. Basically, what OnlyFans said was no more guns. Period. Now, understand that they are a UK company. They're a UK company, and it's a double-edged sword because they pretty much are cool with whatever. I mean, you can have videos of, you can have hardcore videos, period, hardcore videos. But apparently you cannot have guns. So all of those videos that I have of like Julia Steele naked shooting guns, Cambria naked shooting guns, Bobby Vance naked shooting guns, all these different models that I have naked shooting guns, I'm going to have to remove. And I don't have any choice. I don't want to lose that OnlyFans because it's quite a revenue generator, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to have to comply, which sucks because I don't know where I'm going to put that footage, if anywhere. It may just have ran its course. There's just no... May end up going full circle back to selling people videos over, email, but I don't really want to do that because it's such a pain in the butt. And not to mention, here's the thing I always liked about Patreon and OnlyFans. The prices were set. It wasn't a negotiating thing. So unless you ran a special, like every now and again I'll run a special on my OnlyFans, but unless you run a special, look, it's $50. Now, people ask me all the time, well, where do you get off charging $50? Well, I have over 400 videos of girls that you've all known over the years. Well, if you're new to my channel, I guess you haven't known them. I have thousands of photos of all range. And so now, as far as content goes, I mean, back in the day, people were paying me $50 to see one video of Julia, a 2-minute video of her shooting a gun naked, or house. A lot of them, they wanted that footage that they could have on their computer, and they would give me $100 for that. And a lot of times it wasn't even her naked; it was just her in a bikini. So anyway, long story short, it's a reoccurring $50 a month for Patreon, but you have access to a shit ton of content, you're just not going to see anywhere else. And if you were following my channel forever, say you were a fan of Julia Steele's, maybe you didn't even know that there was a place where you could go and see her butt-ass naked. But there is. My Patreon. Excuse me, my OnlyFans. And I think there's some nude photos that are on Patreon too. But, so sometime next month I'm going to have to take those down. So I'm just giving you guys the heads up. If you are interested in seeing any of that content, you're going to have to act fast. Because I don't remember, I'm going to go back and I'll find out, but I don't remember when, but it is in April. And in April they're going to, institute that new rule that says no guns. None. And it's sad because, as an American it's kind of offensive, but I realize that, look, they're in the UK. They have different values, different rules. They don't have a Second Amendment there like we do. So, because even Patreon, at one time Patreon tried to crack down on firearm stuff, just like YouTube did, but they always got so much pushback because Americans love their guns. So, I don't know. Anyway, just wanted to give you guys the heads up on that. As far as other videos, obviously, this channel isn't normally something like this would have went on the Mad Bad Voodoo channel, but, the Mad Bad Voodoo channel on YouTube is defunct. It's no longer there. The original one is, but I don't know. I don't even think I have the password for that anymore. I'd have to really work that out. So, anyway, yeah, crypto. I'm going to be doing more crypto videos. I still love crypto. It's been crazy, but I still bought my crypto right, except for Solana. Now, I haven't sold Solana, so I don't have any realized losses, but holy crap. When I was buying Solana, the first time I bought Solana, I bought it at its peak, like $252 a coin. And the last time I looked, I think I looked today, and I think it was like $87, I think, a coin. So if I was to sell my Solana today, I would take a bath. I don't need the write-up, so I'm not going to do that. I'm hoping it comes back, and I think it will come back. The world's crazy right now, and I've got a lot to say about that. A lot. I have a lot to say about that, but this video's went on long enough. Hopefully I'll find more time and more energy